You're the Simpsons guy from the news.
Isn't it crazy how the guy from The Simpsons has so many predictions, right? So many things he's somehow been right about.
Yeah.
I think they have a documentary on it, or somebody on Twitter went back and spent the
Twitter.
time.
Somebody on Twitter.
Formerly called X.
Twitter. Do you like that it's called X?
I don't.
Now that
I think,
we're a million years.
I think if you poll the majority of people, they still call it Twitter, and they still call it tweeting. They don't. Nobody calls it posting.
Tweet.
Yeah,
tweet.
Tweety Bird. They should have the. Never mind.
Tuki.
Can you hear me?
Tuki ta. Yeah, I can hear.
We're live.
We're live on Eyewitness Radio. This
Live
is
from Radio City Music Hall.
radio.
That's where the draft used to be, right?
Is it?
So, in New York.
Yeah, I think so, actually.
Now it's...
Remember how mad everybody was because they started doing the draft in different cities?
Yeah, now look, would they have 200,000 people show up? I mean, they had to kick people out or turn people away, I heard.
Did they really? That's pretty tight.
Remember when it came to Philly? That was the first year where it really blew up, and they realized, oh my God, I think we have something here. We should do this.
That must have been
every
so
year.
Cool to go. I don't really have a big desire to go to draft day, but I wouldn't not go to draft day.
If it was in New England, would you go?
I don't know.
I would.
Yeah, probably.
Definitely.
Probably, because it's like convenience of being right there and like having the actual experience for the first time.
Although we didn't have as many
Scooching.
prospects come to the draft, I think there was only 18 or 19. It would still be cool to be in the room, see them go up, especially, God forbid, Eagles have a high pick some year, you know? I mean...
Hey, it could be like a couple years ago where we were a good
Let's not
team
talk
and had a
about
high
that.
pick.
Anyway.
Never doubt Howie.
The draft
he
is
can
over.
get it done.
The draft is finished.
The draft is finished. The rookies have officially entered. What was that? The rookies officially entered rookie minicamp. How exciting. 2025. I got to spend a little bit of time listening to them talking online. Mm-hmm. Saw a couple press conferences. I liked what I heard. As far as us two, you see us two?
We're on camera now.
It's the 1 of 32 podcast. What's up, people? It's your boy Donz, sitting here with your boy KP. Holla at your boy.
Hello, family.
Howdy. How the hell are you?
Getting used to the new setup here, both of us being on camera, and I like it much better, Donz. I think it's better that we're next to each other, and you're going to start seeing us more.
I want to be next to you.
We're going to adapt. You're going to see new backgrounds coming up. Donz put the towel in today. Check it out. I mean,
The illusion. I put the towel. You know I always put the towel down, baby.
Shout out to the Cowboys
It's going
fan.
to be like a water park ride.
Shout out to the Cowboys fan. I saw
Slip inside. All right, I'm
at
done.
the Coffee Cubby today in Lincoln. I saw him with his Cowboys gear on. He saw me with my Birds gear on, and he just gave me one of those head nods like, as if to say like, yeah, I know you guys just won the fucking Super Bowl. That's right, we did.
I don't even like that
That's
guy.
right.
That guy's a piece of garbage.
He just gave me like a head nod. Like, That's right, dude.
You know what I heard?
Oh, no.
We lost our boy Britton Covey.
Damn. What happened?
I think I heard we lost him. Yeah, the Rams signed wide receiver, punt returner Brian Covey to a 1-year deal. 1 year.
Well,
Are you sad about it?
yeah, I am, honestly. I mean, I'm not going to say it doesn't mean anything. He was
28 years old. He's old.
he's been
Not
with us for a
old.
couple of years. I mean, if the Rams are going to give him an opportunity and going to pay him, I can't be mad. Go do your thing.
But why do you think we didn't sign him?
Was he on the practice squad? Is that how that happens? Like people on the practice squad can be signed by other teams, or was he just a free agent that we hadn't signed yet? I don't know, but
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
it's one of those things where the fear sometimes with teams is if we put this guy on the practice squad, somebody could come in and sign him,
For sure.
or that means we would have waited quite a long time to sign him, or kind of let him sit in free agency.
No, he was just a NFL undrafted free agent. Oh, wait. My bad.
That's how he
when
came in,
stu-
which
yeah.
is even crazier that he had a role in the league after being undrafted. So I'm happy for him. Sad to see him go, but you know what that means? Opportunity for somebody else.
You know what? It doesn't really say. Doesn't say if he was on the practice squad or not. I think he was just a free agent because I think he had been with us a couple of years. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he probably had a 3-year deal. Anyway, I could be wrong.
I'll be
Tell me
rooting
in the
for him
comments.
in the Rams. I'll be rooting for him. That's for sure.
Yeah, me too. Did you like him as a punt returner? Because I always had mixed feelings about him.
I'm kind of neutral on him. That's why I was kind of like bleh when we were talking about it. Like, I want to be respectful because I know he's been with us for a few years, but I can't remember a play that he's made. Can you?
Yeah, he ran it back to the house a couple of times for us, I think. I know definitely at least once. But I have like two views on Britton Covey because as an NFL fan, it's not electric, it's not sexy, it's not beautiful, it's not. But the coach in me says, like, God, I love this guy. He catches the ball in the air every single time.
Hands catcher.
He always, and this is what I always used to ask kids, like, try to get 5 yards. Don't try to get a touchdown. Get 5 yards. If you get 5 yards, you can get a touchdown. But if you can't get 5 yards, you can't get a touchdown usually. And I'm not dealing with, like, NFL caliber kids or anything like that. So the fact that he would catch the ball and then advance possession like 5-8 yards so consistently where it wasn't like a super sexy thing, but just the percentage of like you scoring from 5 yards ahead and starting there to like 5 yards back is a big difference in the NFL, I feel like sometimes. And sometimes when you're balancing like a game where you're pretty evenly matched, those small things could be something that gets you over the hump and leads to victory.
There's nothing I hate more than when a punt returner tries to go backwards to then go forwards, and then they lose yards, and you see the coach just on the sideline, like, just ready to rip them.
It depends who you are.
Yeah.
Because if you were Dante Hall and you ran backwards,
I was just going to say that name.
I'd be all for Dante Hall going, whoop,
Devin Hester?
Whoop, whoop. Devin Hester.
The greatest.
Even Deshaun Jackson. There's a couple of special punt returners that I don't care if you run backwards, but, like, I need y'all to look into the mirror deeply and passionately. Like, you guys aren't those people. So don't run backwards. You're not that speed in the NFL. I feel like Cooper DeJean is one that had a rude awakening when it came to punt returns because you could tell, like, he was playing so slow while everybody was moving fast because he's just used to being the fastest guy out there.
Everybody's on scholarship in the NFL, right, Donz?
And special teams player, like, specifically are like the fastest guys because they have to do something in order to make the
stay
team.
on the
so a lot of
team,
those dudes are crazy fast at getting downfield. So anyways, I feel like we spent enough time on Britton Covey. My bad.
Well, you know what it is? You got me, if you turn from one to the other, Donz. A huge thing in the offseason that, of course, I'm sure we'll get to during the season or closer to it is the kickoff rules. Now, the touchback, if you kick it out of the end zone, is the 35-yard line.
That's pretty deep.
Which means we're going to have way more returns this year.
You think so?
Which means all those special teamers, all those returners are going to be even more important this year. I think the NFL tried that with the 30 yards last year. Teams didn't really fall for it. We had little to no returns.
Do you think 5 years is going to make a difference?
The 35? I honestly do. I think this might be the year. Because if not, what are they going to do? They're going to get rid of the kickoffs. They're going to go to the 40. I think this is the year where we start to see more kickoffs. But Covey got me into thinking about the kickoff and how important some of these kickoff punt returners are going to be.
I like the kickoff. Like, I like it. It's a time to decompress as a fan from all the action that's going on. Maybe go grab a drink, grab some potato chips, like look down on your phone, look at your brother, your friend, whoever you're watching the game, and being like, yo, that drive was crazy. And then at the same time, it's super sexy because a kick return to the house or a fumble on kickoff. What always happens when you see that? You're like, oh, fumble! Like, yo, are you kidding me?
We got
that's
it.
one of the most exciting plays. I don't care that 90% of it isn't those excitement moments.
Yes.
But those excitement moments are worth it to me. And it also gives, like, a team a reason to have more players on the field.
You're speaking the NFL's words right now. I think that's why they want to bring it back as a play. And for the last 4 or 5 years, it's been into the end zone, I just
don't want them to get rid of it because statistically some dork said that it'd be better for the viewings.
Well, it's all about the injuries, and we're getting towards the point of no more kickoffs where everybody just starts at the 25 or the 30. Do I think eventually we'll get there? Maybe, but they're really trying and getting creative with the 35-yard line. So I think punt returners, kick returners, your fourth DBs, your fourth wide receivers, or just specialty guys. For the Eagles, it could be Adoree Jackson.
Yeah, but can I ask you, how many injuries have you seen actually occur on kickoffs?
Well,
there's been a couple. Like, there's not none.
It used to be from the what do they call it? A 3-man wedge, where you kind of lock arms with two of your buddies and go down the field, and you could really do some damage.
It used to be like 4-man wedge.
Yeah, and then they got rid of that, where you could only do 2, and then they got rid of it where you can't do that. Then it was the distance between. We can't have guys running full speed from 40 yards into each other. Let's shorten the distance between them. Then the onside kick, we can't have the ball going in the air because then you got guys jumping for it with collisions. So, the same people that preach we care about the players' health and the players' safety, but we're going to add an 18th game, by the way. Next year, or 2 years from now, it's coming.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
How long is the preseason? It's 3 games now, right?
I think it's 2 games.
Is it 2 games?
I think because when they go to 18, they're going to narrow it down. But
I thought it was 3 games. It's been 3 games for a little bit.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure because if you take away a preseason game, not an 18th game, like I guess that makes sense. But I don't think they would do that because they want to do it for the views.
Well, I think that's the give is we'll get rid of a preseason game, but we get an extra regular season game. And the fear is that you'll have meaningless games at the end of the season. 3 preseasons, so.
I like the preseason games. I don't care what anybody says. I really do enjoy them. And honestly, football players do need to get ready to play football. And honestly, it's a good time to get those collegiate athletes because there's a ton of collegiate athletes acclimated to the NFL a little bit better than what they would if they just went into a full game against the best people.
Where I really learned a lot about those guys, Donz, is Hard Knocks. For the first time, you get to see the 5th round guy come in from a small school, or an undrafted guy who never has a chance. All of a sudden, he makes a few plays in practice. He gets a chance in the game. All of a sudden, he might make the roster. That's one of the things I miss about Hard Knocks is they don't show those guys either making the team or getting cut.
Or a dude that plays like really well gets cut and then gets an opportunity because he played really well in camp.
Yep. That's one of the things the coaches would always say to the guys, well, sure, somebody will pick you up. You're a good talent. You've been good to us. Somebody will pick you up. And then some of those guys become vets for other teams.
Imagine the opposite conversation. You're horrible.
Ever going to pick you up.
Go work at Barnes & Nobles because you're terrible. You're not even fitted to lift 25 pounds worth of books, dude. What are you doing here? How did you get through our scouting system? You imagine if they've ever had a conversation like that with one of their players? Obviously not as traumatized as me, but it's just like God, do you really want to do this? I don't know.
Do you realize how slow you are, Johnson? You literally couldn't tackle anybody.
Basically.
And then hand him a application to go work at the local fucking grocery store. Hey, what about Kurt Warner, man? From the grocery store to the sidelines. Let's try to get positive. I know you want to be negative. I know.
It's a trending thing. Here's the thing.
What?
I don't like Kurt Warner only because of my boy McNabb.
Oh, wow.
Because MVP races and stuff like that. But I do like Kurt Warner. I don't.
It's a good story. Have you seen the movie about him? I haven't seen the movie. I heard it's good, though.
No, I haven't seen the movie about him. But all those years growing up, I didn't like Kurt Warner because of that beef, right? Of being the best quarterback. But then he went to Arizona, and obviously he went to the Giants.
Anquan.
But he went to Arizona and became such a special player again, just completely rejuvenized and revitalized his career. And I got a lot of respect for somebody that can still, believe in themselves and do something like that.
One of the things I always loved about Kurt Warner, and if you watch a lot of football games, you know this, he would always stand in the pocket and take the hit. Knowing there's a blitzer coming right up the middle, he'll take the hit and deliver the ball right where it needs to be.
Kurt Warner was a G, dude. He really was a G. He was so good.
He was not scared.
I've heard his story so many times.
I know.
But I think it's cool that they're actually doing it because it's something worth telling. And it's nice to have a NFL story that's a positive one in the theaters, because what do we have? Like, even Draft Day, I feel like wasn't a positive movie. There was like all stressful and all these events that leave people mad.
I got something positive to talk about, and that's Mr. Dallas Goedert.
Dallas G. I can't believe it, bro. As soon as the draft happened and he didn't get traded, I was like, dude, what are we doing with him? He has to be staying, no?
We were texting about it, and I said, I think I just asked you, do you think Dallas is going to stay? And right away, you hit me back with, no way, he's gone. I'm like, damn, Donz must know something. He must have read something. And then draft night that week, we're hearing all kinds of rumors from teams, but he's here to stay.
I heard that there was a couple of gentlemen calls to Dallas Goedert, and people saying like, hey, do you want to get traded to this team? You want to get traded to that team? And my boy Dallas was like, nah, son. Probably not like that, but he was like, nah, hell no. He's like, I'd rather stay with the team.
Well,
I wasn't technically wrong, but I was wrong because he stayed, obviously.
I don't care about who's right and wrong, Don. I'm just glad he's back for another year. He's going to be motivated. That's for damn sure. But
yeah, there's no life where not having him on our roster is better for the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'm glad he's back. Field. Yeah. The other thing is, despite all the trade rumors, I was thinking about this today. The Eagles actually got what they wanted at the end of the day.
How so?
Because they got him to come back and play for, I guess, the number that they wanted, or a number close to what they wanted.
Yeah.
He was probably making waves about, I deserve X amount, or I want to be traded. Mm-hmm. And then, like you mentioned earlier, I had read during the draft, numerous teams approached the Eagles, or there were trade talks about Goedert. We went to him and said, hey, what do you think? And he said, I think I'd rather stay with the Birds.
Yeah, I'm glad that you stayed. Staying for the 2025 season. Do you know the terms of the signing yet?
No, but that's why I just mentioned what I did is like, initially you had mentioned like a 3-year deal. We re-signed him. I'm like, I don't know. I think it's just like we got him to do what we wanted, which was, hey, play out the contract, and then we'll see where we are. So now we have a motivated Dallas Goedert. Whether he's motivated for the Eagles or just to get his bag, either way, it's going to help the Eagles this year. So one of the things we always talk about with Goedert is his
health and reliability. Of being
so this year, I don't know about you, I expect minimum 15, 16 games from Goedert because of
injury. Goedert being injured for 15, 16 games.
No. I mean, he's going to play 15 games.
Yeah. No, I know what you meant.
Because he has to, because the money's on the other side of the hill.
Yeah. So it's either like, this is your shot. You're either going to get a ginormous contract or you're not, you know. And he got a good deal. I don't think I saw like 14 million a year type numbers.
I'm
not sure.
In his head, or I should say, if we gave him truth serum, he would say like, I'm probably not going to be on this team next year, so I'm going to ball out and try to, secure a bag, probably his last bag as a player.
Well, that's what we hope, right? As fans, that's what he says. Imagine he's like, I'm not going to throw myself in harm's way.
Oh, I get it.
Well,
that's only going to hurt him, though.
Yeah. But actually, go ahead. What?
No, I mean, last week or the episode that we did before, you mentioned the Eagles tight ends and how they usually stay. Mm-hmm. L.J. Smith, and you mentioned Selleck.
And Zach
Ertz. So, I mean, if Goedert does want to take the bag and leave, that's fine. But it would be nice to see him stay for a couple of years.
Yeah, it would
have a team-friendly deal, especially if we make another run. He just won a Super Bowl. I thought that was going to work with Becton, where we picked him up not from the scrap heap, but like pretty much he was at the lowest point in his career. We coach him up with Stoutland. There's videos of him on the sideline with the team. Then you see him crying in the NFC Championship or crying when he's going to make the playoffs. He's never been to the playoffs. Then there's a video of him crying on the field when he wins the Super Bowl. And I fell for it. I'm like, oh, he's going to stay now because we took him in when nobody wanted him. Yeah. We molded him into maybe not an all-pro tackle, but a Pro Bowl guard, excuse me.
But he was such a ginormous story, and they talked and Mekhi Becton actually used to play tackle. Mekhi Becton used to play tackle, and he was just all over the media. Like every time you watch the game, how many times do you hear the announcers talk about Mekhi Becton? Which I wish you were here, dog.
Yeah,
but you couldn't stay.
I wonder how much money, like, we talked about Gainwell a couple episodes ago where initially, Gainwell must have got a bag.
He didn't get anything,
Nope.
yeah.
So, like, what's the thought process? But, hey, I guess Shipley's young. He did play good in a couple games when they gave him an opportunity, so maybe
the team
it's like...
could also just be like, we're moving on from you, Kenny, and there's nothing you can do.
It also could have just been Gainwell, where, like, if the money's similar... and he thinks he's going to get more of an opportunity.
Potential to start, too. Yeah, that's true, too.
Maybe I'll just...
Because it's like he's here with Saquon. He's not starting anytime soon. Unless Saquon, God forbid, gets some time off next year.
I'm happy for Goedert and the fact that he's staying for another year.
Yeah, he's a beast, bro. He's a beast.
I wish we could find out what teams wanted to trade for him and what the package was.
And he's so good at creating separation from his routes, too.
Mm-hmm.
He's, like, so good at, like, faking you out and, like, making sure that you, like, run heavy on him. And then all of a sudden, bam, he just cuts and you're, like, overrunning his coverage. He's a beast, man. He does a lot. He blocks well. He doesn't complain at all when he doesn't get touches. How many times have you heard Dallas Goedert during the season say anything about his touch count?
Nope.
0.
Yep,
knowing that he was going into a contract year too.
The other thing about him is not only is he selfless, but there's two big plays I can think of. Obviously, the huge stiff arm against the Packers, but then that play against the Saints where he must have ran 70, 80 yards maybe. Mm-hmm. And I can hear Mailata in my head with his accent. You know, he's yelling at Dallas because he got caught at the 5. But just...
Yeah, that was a great play. That was a great game. We had to win that game too, and we did, and Dallas was a big reason for it. And it seems like when we're in a rut and nobody else is clicking, Dallas seems to find a way to get things going. And that's why I appreciate Dallas Goedert. But welcome. You never left. We always loved you. We always loved you, kid.
Wow. It's almost like perfect, Donz. Like, knew what I was going to say. So we have a rundown, obviously, of the show behind the scenes. The next topic is we're going to talk about the Eagles' White House visit. And what does Donz do? Puts it right on the tee for me with the Trump accent. He brings out the Trump, like, right away. So, Donz, let's talk about it. Who was there? Who wasn't there? What are your thoughts about the Eagles' recent visit to the White House?
No, I don't know if you remember that when I told you let's talk about this.
Yeah.
I was going to say that this is going to go by real like fast.
Yeah.
Know, and that we weren't going to really have
too
much time
you
built
brought
up
the
on
Trump,
this.
so.
And honestly, I don't give a damn that you didn't go to the White House. I couldn't care any less if you show up, if you don't show up. It's your right as an individual to want to go do something. Mm-hmm. I don't care if you're a donkey. I don't care if you're an elephant, bro. I don't care if you identify as a tree. I don't care. Going to the White House is cool no matter who's in office. This is a beautiful country. It's quite frankly one of the most precious countries that I hold dearly in my heart. It doesn't matter who's there. I don't shit on anybody for going. I don't shit on anybody for not going. It ain't none of my business.
It's
you know?
It's crazy, Donz. I guess I was just trying to process everything as you were talking about. You made me think about it in a different way. Is this a decision to not go based off of what the player wants, or maybe like fear of what the media will say, their family will say, their reaction will be? Or is it like politically driven? Is it just because to me...
knows? Well, people are afraid of the negative connotation that comes with being associated with whatever party. And people are petty and they're dumb, and you know, you don't get business opportunities because you like the Donald Trump picture, or you don't, you know, get a loan because you voted for Joe Biden. Doesn't matter, you know?
Saquon tweeted something about catching some heat for the time he spent at the White House, and I'm Not surprised because that's the internet.
And quite frankly, Saquon had a great time at the White House.
They played golf,
He
I guess.
said so
too.
myself. And he was like, wow, I've never had a time that was greater than this. If I were to compare the Super Bowl visit and the White House visit, I'd say pretty equal, let me say.
Just an opportunity to go to the White House, Donz.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
cool. And you get the actual tour. You get the actual
Yeah.
tour. You know, you don't get the one, well, and President Lincoln was sitting here reading a newspaper about 7 times every month, and his cup of coffee was actually trained.
that was Don's
Identified
old
as
white
T.
voice.
Anyways, back to the show.
So for me, I'm going to turn it to try to be positive, but the fact that both A.J.
I didn't
Brown...
think this was negative.
No,
I'm
no,
not
I
being
just
negative.
mean-
It's cool if you do, cool if you don't, bro. I
No,
don't care.
I know. I just mean like politics is a sticky situation, but the fact that AJ and Hurts both stayed home and decided to not go might actually be a good sign that they're friends again or closer. After BG's comments last year of like, you know, they used to be friends, but they're not. Despite winning the Super Bowl, people forget about that. It was just a weird story at the time. Doesn't mean anything now. They just won the Super Bowl, but just like a weird story that I wanted to bring up.
I can't stop my ticks, bro. Actually, I just did. You'd be proud of me.
That's okay.
But is
What
it going to
happened?
come out? Probably. He's
will
like,
happen.
AJ, I also didn't go to the White House. No way.
At the same
Maybe
time,
we should be best friends again.
every single episode we are
can't
going to
help
hear the
it.
Trump, so that's
I
why
know, dude. I
it
don't
was a
know
perfect segue into the White House conversation. But
Do you got anything else to say?
we go from the White House to who they think is America's team, but
Garbage. You're garbage. You've always been garbage. You're as bad as Abdul Carter. You can't even pick up a trash can garbage.
I wonder if you polled America, who they would say America's team is right now. I wonder.
That would be interesting. Hey, NFL, how about you poll the world to see who's America's team? That would be so dope. You know, Jerry Jones is probably like, I don't think we should do something like that.
We don't need to do that.
We're America's team.
It's definitely not the Patriots, or is it? Anyway, well, the Dallas.
The Chiefs?
It could be the Chiefs. Well, no, people hate the Chiefs.
Kansas City. Yeah, but it's the same. I don't
the
know. I feel like
Patriots,
it's
I know.
whoever's dynasty is ruling the decade.
Yeah, and how much they get caught cheating over and over again. Anyway.
I also think that's something that, like, Jerry, we're going to let you take that one to the grave. You left this world being America's team, and as soon as you're gone, goodbye.
What I wouldn't do to find out what Jerry Jones knows about the NFL, the kind of secrets he has, dude, because
Dude, he probably knows so much.
he has so much pull in the NFL, supposedly from everything I read here, and he just has so much pull, him and Kraft and the guy with the Rams. I know all of them have different amounts of money, and it has to do with how much money you earn and how much money you have for the team, but
Yeah, he was super influential to the whole
Yeah.
league. You know, he was a revolutionary and trendsetter for the way that you operate an organization behind the football, right? Getting ticket sales, getting more seats and butts, which I do realize, as I said it, is the same exact thing in a different way. But
Let's
promoting, advertising, like all that stuff, Jerry Jones really did a lot. Imagine like this whole time he's like, I don't know shit.
he doesn't know anything, clearly. Anyway, let's not bury the lead. The reason we're talking about the Cowboys is they made a trade.
Boo. So the Dallas Cowboys make a trade. How funny. You can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig.
Well, when they didn't, there was a lot of thoughts about Matthew Golden to the Cowboys. He's from Texas. It would be a nice fit with CeeDee Lamb. That didn't happen. There were a couple receivers that they were supposed to get. They did not get them, or maybe the ones that they wanted. So they make a splash move
So,
to acquire the one and only wrestler on the field, sumo man, suplex man, Mr. George Pickens.
so George Pickens, he has a very high ceiling, but my boy's on a frequency, right? Because he can have the greatest play, 2 plays, 2 routes in a row, and then be all the way down and hit the floor and do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So the trade from the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cowboys. So Pittsburgh sends George Pickens and a 2027 6th-round pick to the Dallas Cowboys for a 2026 3rd-round pick and a 2027 5th-rounder. Do you think that was a lot to ask for a player like George Pickens?
I'm glad you asked, Donz. I've been waiting to go off on this rant. So we don't know what's going to happen, but let me just break it down in regards to my thoughts on it, what we think is going to happen. Pickens is in a contract year right now. Mm-hmm. So when he goes to the Cowboys, much like we just got done talking about Dallas Goedert being motivated for the end of his deal, Pickens is going to be the exact same way. So for Cowboys fans, check mark for the positive. You're going to get a motivated, ready to dominate, get his numbers George Pickens. Now, if he doesn't get the ball from Dak Prescott, will that create issues? I remind Cowboys fans about Dez Bryant early on with Dak Prescott. Give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. That caused some issues. I can think of Terrell Owens with Tony Romo way back in the day. Anyway, George Pickens can be a malcontent. He can be a problem, but he is going to be motivated.
He's a lot younger than what Dez was.
Yes, but I said it like in regards of give me the ball, I want the ball, kind of like Devontae Adams in the receiver thing where he's like, I want to win, but I want to win my way where I dominate, basically, which was very selfish.
I just had, if I may interject just for a second, is that I feel like Dez Bryant, Devontae Adams, they're like obviously not the same player that they are now. I feel like they correlate the quarterback change with the downfall of their career and not like their skills kind of
diminishing.
Yeah. Anyways, that's all.
Pickens is in a contract year. So he's already mentioned, or the thought is he's going to test free agency. So it seems to me that the Cowboys gave away a draft pick for a rental for 1 year unless he, let's just say best case scenario, we'll be Cowboys fans for a minute. He's dominant this year. 12, 15 touchdowns, 100 catches, 1,300 yards. Then what? Now you got to pay him, and you just paid CD, and now you have to pay Micah. So, like, I just think this is a ticking time bomb for the Cowboys, but they have
and the Cowboys go 0-17 with George Pickens with those stats.
They have, I mean, we're going to do the NFC East rankings post-draft later, but when I was doing my ranking, I'm thinking about who the coaches of the Cowboys. Schottenheimer. They actually hired Brian Schottenheimer as their coach. And that, to me, is like another example of Jerry doesn't want to win. He just wants to be able to control the situation and have a coach that's a mouthpiece, similar to, who's the guy on TV? He coached Tony Romo.
Carr?
Jerry, no, what's his name, dude?
Bradshaw?
Nope, coach of the Cowboys. He was the quarterback of the Cowboys. Jason Garrett. God, I used to... Anyway.
Yeah, I used to not like him either.
I just think Brian Schottenheimer is another example of that where, like, he's not going to be aggressive. He's not going to push back against ownership. I mean, not that McCarthy did either, but I just... Pickens could be a ticking time bomb. So what are your thoughts on Pickens, his talent, and does it put the Cowboys over the top?
Pickens is a fine specimen of great athleticism, great ability, great skills, and great talent. But I kind of put him in the same talent level as Garrett Wilson, where Garrett Wilson is definitely faster, but Pickens is taller type of situation. Mm-hmm. But both of them got a case of the drops. So not very consistent when it comes to crunch time, you know, need something like desperately now this guy's going to go get it for you. A lot of the times I've seen him and Garrett Wilson, sorry for the stray, kind of fail at that. But that being said, the amazing is amazing. But the downside is if it's a run play, they're going to stand at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, you're not blocking anybody.
If it's a screen play, they're going to not even jog a slant or whatever, you know, like just very all about me type attitude that I have seen on the football field. I don't know these people personally, so they could be great people outside. That's another thing that I actually want to bring up to you, and I don't know if you heard it, but it was the clip of Draymond Green online being like, oh, I'm tired of you guys portraying me as an angry black man. Like, I'm a smart, intelligent, educated person who has people like I love, like, and like, y'all like keep labeling me as like an angry black man. And it's funny because he's yelling at people that he's not angry. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure Draymond Green on a one-to-one basis is like a decent human being. We all have our shit, you know, we all have our stuff. So is it a case of like, I'm not trying to come after character, I guess is what I'm saying. But what I see on the field is you fighting your teammates, you fighting with your coaches, you swearing at people in a non-productive way. Not like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, hey, this is fucking bullshit. This is dumb. Like, I should be getting the ball. I should be doing this. We should be doing that. Like, all like that stuff, like complaint stuff that comes with like unpreparation that you usually find in people. I just don't know if George Pickens' like career is... or desire is to be like a great wide receiver. It's just what he does well, and there's a difference in people when they play.
Here's what we know
Did I
for
even
sure.
say anything? Yo!
Huh?
Did I even say anything?
Let me just end it with this. So, George Pickens is in a contract year. He has never been in a contract year in his life.
Yeah.
So I'm sure his agent, the people around him are saying, hey, bud, all the shit you've been doing, all the shenanigans, not to say it doesn't matter, but like if you perform this year and you behave and you dominate, you are going to get a huge payday, either from the Dallas Cowboys or from the Carolina Panthers or the Arizona Cardinals or the LA Rams. Some team, some poor team is going to overpay you for being dominant. So like, get your head on straight for 15 games and go out there and be a number 2. Realize this, guys. He went from being the number 2 to DK Metcalf to now the number 2 to CeeDee Lamb. So when you are playing defense or coordinating a defense or coaching a defense and you're starting at the top, it's not with Pickens now. It's with CeeDee Lamb. How do we stop him? I saw a great target map online, more or less a heat map of where does George Pickens catch the ball, where does CeeDee Lamb catch the ball. CeeDee Lamb is a lot of slot in the middle of the field, and Pickens is usually sideline, outside, and deep balls.
Perfect for them.
So it's a perfect match.
It's Smitty AJ.
There is a potential for this to boom and be great for Dak Prescott.
For sure.
Both in real life and fantasy-wise, but also if we're in week 3 and Pickens has 6 targets, 3 catches and 30 yards, I wouldn't be surprised.
Honestly, I guess what I just wanted to say is like we're gonna get to see if George Pickens actually gives a damn about his career this year.
Yeah,
that's what I want to say, and it's great because for 2 outcomes, it could be good for ball because you can have a great pairing of wide receivers, or it could be the most cowboy thing in the world where it completely blows up in their face.
Yeah.
He's swearing at Jerry Jones. He's like he's like, man, you're not my coach, like throwing the clipboard at his coach and shit, like all that stuff. So I hope he cares about his career because he's a great player, but I also hate him and he sucks and he's never really caught a ball that I've ever seen that I was impressed with. And now that he's a Cowboy, I can't imagine that trend's changing. So
leave it up to George Pickens to like make some kind of headlines.
Yeah, he's a great talent. He's a solid player, but he's not one of the greats because he don't be acting like it. And I don't mean like the show, like the behind the scenes shit. It doesn't seem like he acts like he's the one. But
they traded him in May, so he's got the whole summer to get that playbook, get in Dallas, work with CeeDee Lamb, work with Dak Prescott. They should have some good rapport before the season starts.
Oh no.
You didn't record it, huh?
No, I'm recording.
Okay, what?
I don't know. I can't say it, dude.
Oh, okay.
I can't
anyway,
say it.
So the reason I brought up Pickens is because not only is he the most recent move, but we're moving closer towards all teams being rookie mini camps or
I can't
being
get
in
it
mini
out of my
camp.
head. I need to say this, yo.
Okay, what?
I'll probably cut this out. So
okay.
It's fucking. But George Pickens all of a sudden got a dad figure. And Mike Tomlin, he's like, fuck that shit. I don't need this shit now.
I don't need a dad. I don't need a dad.
I don't need a dad. I didn't need a dad then. I don't need it now.
Fuck that. And he definitely ain't going to get one in Schottenheimer.
So I can't. Sorry, bro. I need to get that out.
You can put that in the pod.
No, I'm cutting that out.
All right, fine.
That's bad.
Okay. All right, ready?
Yeah.
You ready to get back?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
thanks. I needed that, yo.
dude, I'm glad you got that out.
I needed that.
There's nothing wrong with that. Should we clap again?
Yeah, it don't matter. I'm going to find it anyway.
The reason we brought up Pickens is he's the most recent, I guess, transaction move that's happened. And believe it or not, we're already almost midway through May. 3 months till August. We're already getting closer to a new NFL season, which means minicamp updates.
Yeah, I can't wait for minicamp updates. And we have one of the best reporters to follow, too, when it comes to off-season updates, bro. Elliot Shore-Parks is a beast with it. Doing training camp stats, which is starting to like pick up along the league. And I'm not gonna lie, he was. I mean, or maybe I just don't listen to other radio stations, but he was one of the first to be doing that, and they started like incorporating that in press conferences and shit like that. So I'm excited for the off season because I don't know. I watch Go Birds, listen to Go Birds, and listen to a lot of WIP, and there's usually a lot to talk about. So
last year, what did we hear? Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has 0 interceptions through training camp. Yeah. Oh, that's not good. He's not taking any chances. This is not going to be good. And I know we're not going to go back and rehash everything.
Nah, hell no. People are haters. Let's hash.
Well, let's do it then. Eagles started off 2-2. I remember us talking about why are we throwing the ball so much? Why are we throwing the ball on first down?
Which was
Hurts
right.
didn't look so good. We had turnovers. He was fumbling the ball. All of a sudden, we have our bye week. We have a meeting to run the effing rock. The offensive lineman met with the coach. We don't know what was happened. We don't know what happened, what was said behind those doors, but the rest is history. The Birds started running the ball, and now we're the defending champs.
I know. Well, who would have thought all it would have took is for us to not run a dumbass offense that we can't run and run an offense that suits us, and then we'd be extremely successful at it.
Kellen Moore, head coach now.
Yeah.
He's got a quarterback he drafted in Tyler Shuck. I think he's going to get some snaps this year. Derek Carr all of a sudden hurt his shoulder, or who knows what's going on with that.
He's a disaster.
But anyway, we were talking about minicamp.
King of
Donz,
mid.
I got 5 minicamp updates for you already. It's never too early. Are you ready for some minicamp updates?
Let's go camping.
Okay.
Let's go camping, baby.
We're going to start with the most important position on the field, and that's the quarterback position. For the second straight year, the Birds are employing a young quarterback who grew up an Eagles fan. Yes, after Kenny Pickett realized his dream of playing for his favorite childhood team, he has since moved on, is with the Cleveland Browns. We'll probably get an opportunity to start. I bring in and I present to you 6th round pick, Kyle McCord.
Kyle McCord, quarterback out of Syracuse. Very interesting player, has a very quick release, very big stature. Reminds me a little bit of like Tanner McKee's like ball playing skills. But tell me about him, Chris. Talk to the people.
Sometimes I'll find little notes, little things about players, not necessarily stats, but this one stuck out to me. McCord is finally getting a chance to reconnect with Scott Loeffler. I believe I pronounced it right. I hope I did. If I didn't, I apologize. The team's new quarterbacks coach, who offered McCord a scholarship when he was in 8th grade.
Wild.
As Boston College's offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. So could you imagine, Donz, not even going into high school yet, and you're getting scholarships from colleges? Unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. It is unbelievable. That's the whole, like, I was born with this body and not yours. Bro, ain't nobody ever look at me for no scholarship. That must have been incredible. I heard the story in the press conference today when I was watching. Kyle McCord said that in 8th grade he was given that scholarship, but his coach never relayed the information to him until the end of the year because the senior had already committed to his school, and he was like, you know, Kyle was about to become the guy next year in 9th grade, and he was like, oh, hey, by the way, like, you have this scholarship for Boston College, which is crazy.
Talk about holding on to some good news for a guy, huh? Damn.
Yeah, apparently he really liked what he saw about his throws, about his footwork, how committed he was to the ball. And apparently they maintained that relationship throughout college. Not that it was like an everyday thing, but he was saying that it was like, you know, he'll hit him up, help him out with, you know, suggestions, game film, like what he thinks he should do better. You did a great job, like type shit like that, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, he said, I think the quote was something along the lines of, hey, he's the only coach I've never actually played for that stays in touch with me and hits me up and stays in touch. So the other thing I read about McCord was that, of course, it's just an early report, but somebody mentioned his velocity on the ball, his accuracy has been on point. Of course, we're throwing on air with no defenders, but they mentioned previous quarterbacks who had come to the Eagles, either as rookies or from other teams, who would have issues with things as simple as throwing on air, being accurate, ball placement, velocity, being consistent. So McCord could find himself as the QB2. The other thing we got to talk about is who he's competing with. Dorian Thompson-Robinson from the Browns, who I was big on, especially any dynasty football players. The guy is mobile. He got a chance to play last year, very inconsistent, but he's got that ability to run the read option, just like Hurts does, and he can move. And then, of course, the tall wonder himself, Tanner McKee.
Yeah, but Scott Loeffler is probably going to, I mean, not Scott Loeffler, Kyle McCord is probably going to be a practice squad guy his first year.
I was just going to ask you.
Honestly, this is probably going to be like either we're moving on. Well, here's the thing. Dorian Brown-Thompson is not he's not a lock to make the team. I know we traded for him, but if he's not what they expected and he doesn't perform well, like I don't think he's a lock to make the team. I think him and McKee are really like fighting for that spot. Because McKee's on the same board now. It's like, you've been in the league for so long. All right, Tanner, are we going to keep you? Or are we going to move on from you?
I was looking up how many quarterbacks you're allowed to keep, and you can keep 3 on the roster. That rule actually was created because of the Eagles and Mr. Brock Purdy, and the 49ers complained they didn't have enough quarterbacks on the roster.
Because they're
guys.
Bums.
Oh, no. Maybe you shouldn't have tried to block Hassan Reddick with a tight end.
True.
Anyway. So I say that because if we can keep all 3 of these guys on the roster, let's keep all of them, right? I mean, rank those 3 quarterbacks, Donz. Kyle McCord, Thompson-Robinson, Tanner McKee right now. Who do you, I mean, obviously we don't know, but who do you expect or how do you rank those 3 guys?
I would rank them McKee, Dorian, and then McCord.
McCord last year, I know. Yeah. Because he's a rookie, it's hard to put him ahead of guys that have played in the NFL.
In an NFL setting. And honestly, I don't really like Dorian. I think that was not a good move. It could be wrong, but I just don't see the value there. And Tanner, I think, can actually – I see a starter in the NFL when I look at Tanner McKee and the way he plays.
He looks the part, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Next note, offensive tackle Cameron Williams. He thought, or some thought, he was going to be a 2nd or 3rd round pick. He went in the 6th round. When asked what part of his game he needs to clean up, some reporters were impressed with his answers: footwork, pad level, and punching. Usually guys will say things they have to work on. He put everything. I heard a story about an NBA player. I won't put the name, even though it doesn't really matter, but he was a top 5 pick, and they brought him in, and they asked him, hey, what do you need to do to get better at the next level? And genuinely, straight face, he said, nothing. And they're like, well, come on. Everybody's trying to improve, even the best players. They ask him again, like, what do you think you can improve on? Nothing. I'm good, man. So, like,
that's a wild answer.
The fact that this guy was humbled where he went in the draft, and now he knows what he needs to work on. Let's hope Cameron Williams can become something for the Birds.
And when I saw his tape, I mean, I saw all that. It's, the guy's a mauler. He's ginormous. His great ability, but he stands a little high in the pocket. And honestly, he says, like, all that stuff is all correlated with each other. So, good head on his shoulder.
Last note, Don. This is an odd one and a funny one. Allow me to introduce you to a man by the name of Kai Kroger. Kroger is a tryout punter from South Carolina.
Oh,
Why am I bringing him up? Don's 7 for 10 career as a passer, 205 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Just something to consider. We saw the Lions and numerous teams all of a sudden fake punt. Just something to think about for the Birds.
It's existed for years. Yeah, why not have somebody that can maybe do it?
Kai Kroger. Could you imagine? Another weapon to have, man. You never know. Now, Kenny can kick. Who knows? But the fact that he went to South Carolina and he kicked in the SEC means he must have a boot.
Yeah. What I was going to say, I was listening to our other offensive guard. Who the hell was that?
Drew Kendall. Miles Hinton, son of Chris Hinton, Pro Bowl pick for the Colts, or Drew Kendall.
Hinton.
Nope. Miles Hinton? Is that him?
Yeah.
Okay,
Hinton.
there you go.
Yep. So I heard his interview, and I loved every second of it. He was telling me how his dad never pushed him into playing football, and he really let him find it himself. And that his dad had a story of like he had a scar from surgery. He was like, "Oh, an alligator bit me," and when he was little, like he didn't know until he like found out, and he ended up finding his dad's like tape and watching it when he was like older, and he was like, "Oh snap!" Like dad was pretty nasty.
Ooh.
And he was saying how like his dad doesn't talk much, but like if you like he'll ask him questions and like he'll answer him and tell him like everything type of stuff, but his dad's like a more quiet dude.
Humble.
And Miles Hinton was talking about like how he feeds off of the nervousness and the energy, and how, you know, he doesn't like shy away from big moments, that he like loves like beating people up and instilling the fear. And I just like, they're like, "Oh, how do you keep such a cool level head in those pressure situations?" And honestly, like I'm just listening to him talk, and in my head I'm just like, yeah, the dude's a lineman. Like,
yeah,
he's a lineman. Like, he's an offensive lineman.
Dirty,
I'm
grimy.
really excited about Miles Hinton. I think we kind of got a diamond in the rough here. And the probability of having somebody that may be a starter for us or has the opportunity to be like that Jake Driscoll guy and fill in and do like really well. Jack Driscoll.
Lord knows he's going to Stoutland University.
Yeah,
so
and he talked about that too.
we're going to coach him up.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's all I got for rookie minicamp. I'm excited to hear more. I mean, Ty Robinson's presser was pretty cool too, but he seems like a very regimented, like military style dude, where he's like, "I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do that, I'll try hard." Like, you know what I mean? Like, very cut and dry type guy. I like that.
Every week you'll be getting updates about, you know, stuff we're hearing from the team, little notes, little pieces of information, who's getting snaps with the first team, who's getting snaps with the second team. Is Jahad Campbell on the field? How much is he on the field? Where's he playing? So you'll be getting a lot more updates about the off-season mini camps from us. But now it's time. Now that the draft is over, free agency, I mean, there's still some guys out there. There's some impact players out there, but it's time for the post-NFL draft NFC East divisional rankings.
So, a lot of things have happened since, you know, the Giants got Abdul Carter. Cowboys ended up having a great draft as well and adding George Pickens. Washington Commanders end up getting who? A couple of older players.
Commanders traded most of their draft capital for Tunsil and Debo, but first-round pick Josh Connerly Jr. should help their 30th ranked coverage grade, according to PFF last season.
So, how do you see the NFC East from here?
Well, I broke it down, Donz. I'm going to start at the bottom. Number 4, the New York Giants.
Interesting.
I sat here for 5 minutes, and I tried to get them into that number 3 spot. I tried to twist it. I tried to think about their D-line. I tried my best to get him in the 3 spot, but I couldn't do it, Donz.
Yeah.
It does seem more reasonable for next season.
Yeah.
Next season, I could see them maybe jumping somebody. Washington, Cowboys, who knows?
There was only one scenario for me that, like...
I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So, despite the Giants drafting potentially the best player in the draft, Donz feels differently about this guy, Abdul Carter, but
he's a loser.
He is a freaking menace.
A loser.
And then moving back up into the first round to get their young quarterback for the future, Jackson Dart. Also, highly anticipated running back, Cam Scatterbo, who took college football the whole world by storm last year with how he runs and how dominant he was. Despite all of that, the Giants are a year or 2 away.
I hope he can run like that, but he's just giving me like, and this isn't fair to the kid.
I got some
Scabo,
names.
he's just giving me Johnny Manziel vibes.
Ooh.
You know? Just
Okay.
Bigger than life, like persona that took the world by storm type
Dude,
of
how
thing.
about Toby Gerhart and Peyton Hillis? Remember those guys?
Yeah. But
Just
Peyton
like-
Hillis could actually ball for a couple of years.
He was like a fullback, but just guys that like you'd see them run over people, not much juke, not much wiggle.
Yo, Peyton Hillis made it on Madden. Put some respect on his name. He was a Madden cover.
Yeah, what? I mean, let's just talk about that for a few minutes. So we got the Madden committee in a room.
Insane.
All these people have to agree. It's not like one person says we're going to pick because they're a Browns fan. We have a committee of people that they pay, and they decided to pick Peyton Hillis as their cover
And that's
athlete.
how a white man run the football.
I don't know what was going on in the world at that time or who wasn't doing something.
He was nasty that year.
You mean to tell me there was no quarterback or
he
like...
was roiding people off of him left and right, bro.
He was definitely on the roids for sure.
Even if he wasn't, bro, he was just demolishing people. He was a bulldozer. He was a bulldozer.
So, despite all that, the Giants are a year or two away. The thing I do want to mention, and I put this in big capital letters, so feel free to give me some pushback, Donz. The Giants have the best defensive line in the division. To me, good luck blocking those boys. Kayvon Thibodeau, if they keep him. Abdul Carter. Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns. I mean, you put those four on the field, it's like a speed rusher. It's 3rd and 7. It's 3rd and 9. I don't know many teams. Of course, the Birds have the ability to block anybody with our stout offensive linemen in our crew. But, like, you go up against an average offensive line crew, I mean...
Nah, I can't disagree with you, bro. I mean...
Damn.
Just because they have the best defensive line doesn't mean they have the best defensive linemen, though. Because I do think Jalen Carter is the best defensive tackle in the NFL as of today, as an overall just absolute powerhouse of a human being. But I got to give it up for the Giants, and I actually think that they're going to run into a situation where there's kind of too many cooks in the kitchen. Although it does remind me of the year where, what was it, JPP's rookie season, where they had Michael Strahan, Jason Pierre-Paul, and then who was the other dude that was a beast?
They had, I'm thinking of O.C. Umenyiora.
Umenyiora, yeah. Yeah, that was the big three. It's kind of very reminiscent to that, isn't it?
Their defensive line, when they were at their best and they were sacking Tom Brady and hitting him 20 times in the Super Bowl.
Bro, they were sacking everybody, though. It wasn't just Brady. They sacked their way to the fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that defensive line, they would have never even won a playoff game.
Justin Tuck was another one. I mean, he wasn't on both
Justin
teams,
Tuck,
but
that's who it is. Yeah.
dude,
Yep.
quick story about Justin Tuck. My dad's a Giants fan. We got to
No neck, that guy.
We got to go to minicamp, and Justin Tuck walked by us out of the tunnel, dude. I was probably 5 feet from him. The biggest human being I've ever seen, dude. Muscles on top of muscles, like
They look
chest,
so small on TV.
shoulders, abs, dude. And I'm like, this guy's a defensive lineman. Like, phew, he's not even a receiver. He's not a running back where you're supposed to be cut up, ready to go. This dude bull rushes people for a living. But, man.
And it's crazy because
big boy.
When you do the television to like real life comparisons, like that's why so many people are like, oh, I could do it in the NFL. I could be a player in the NFL, bro. You're forgetting that these people are like specimens, like perfect specimens. There's like when there is an anomaly, it is so crazy that it becomes a fanatic thing to cheer about. When you get the ginormous Vince Wilforks or the Jordan Davises, like people that are so overly in, even Jordan Davis can run like a friggin' gazelle. That's one. That motherfucker, a hungry hippo. Hippos are mad fast.
Never mind. Go ahead.
Dude. Ugh, that's crazy being compared to like just standing next to an NFL player like
Big
that.
dude.
Yeah.
So their line is going to be very strong this year. It's going to be the strength of their team, if you ask me. They're going to probably play all three of those quarterbacks: Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and the rookie Jackson Dart. I hope, I'll be honest, despite being an Eagles fan, it's probably because my dad likes the Giants, but I hope they found the quarterback that they're looking for in Jackson Dart after screwing up the whole. I know if you let the Giants go back 24 months, 18 months, they let Daniel Jones walk, they pay Saquon, and we have a totally different world we're living in. They didn't do that. They paid Daniel Jones. They didn't pay Saquon. Now they're in this boat of now we got to throw another dart at the board because, let's be honest, Donz, Joe Shane and maybe Dayball probably on the chopping block this year. So if they don't win now, they're gone.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. But they still are fourth on the list. So what's your number 3?
You got them 4-2. Okay, good. Number 3. This is where it gets interesting, Donz. Number 3, Dallas Cowboys. So,
interesting.
Yeah, despite having one of the best drafts in recent history for the Cowboys, and although they just recently acquired Pickens, one of the most talented receivers in the league, the coaching and leadership for me is what holds the Cowboys back. Not that McCarthy was a Hall of Fame coach or anything, but I think taking a huge step back with Brian Schottenheimer I just don't think it's going to work. But the positives, first-round pick Tyler Booker is a mean mugger. He is a mean dude. I've heard him say some of the similar things you said about, like, he made a comment about, I like making football not fun for the guy I'm playing against.
Yeah.
Like seeing the joy just being drained out of his body because I'm dominating him over and over again. I'm like, dude, this guy's a psychopath.
Yeah.
That's a guy I want on my team.
That's
like
an insane person.
The Dominican Sue
is
type.
perfect.
Where like, this dude is wild.
Yeah.
Ron Artest, where like, you
And
don't
I
know
think
what
we
he's
have
going
a
to do,
DN
bro.
to fight him.
Yeah.
I don't think we have a DN to compete with that type of dude.
Another guy, or two guys, I should say. One of them, hopefully I pronounce his name correct, Donovan
Izaraku, I believe.
and Siobhan Ravel, 2 linemen they got that were both day 2 picks, could be impact players for them right away. But Cowboys ranked 30th in run defense last year. Yes, they did get 2 young rookies, but like if you can't stop the run, we saw it last year, especially against the Eagles, teams are just going to run the rock on you over and over again. And that high-priced offense you have with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and now George Pickens on the sideline.
And Martin retiring, too.
Because the team's on the field, the defense on the field too much. So despite the move that they made, I still got the Cowboys 3rd, and I don't think...
Who's their center? Do you know? Because their center just retired.
I think it was the guard. They might have had 2 guys retire, but it was Zach Martin. Is he
Yeah.
still there? He might have retired. He might have left.
He definitely retired.
So he's the guy that Tyler Booker, I think, is going to be replaced by. But they did lose a lot of linemen. I can see...
Booker's a tackle, isn't he?
I don't know. I think he's a god.
Zach Martin, Tyler Smith, and Terrence Steele is their current. Yeah, there's still questions. Tyler Guyton and Cooper BB.
They had a decent line last year. It's not the same when they've had guys like Tyron Smith. But I got them 3rd. What about you, Donz? Who do you
Wait,
have?
is Zach Martin still playing? I thought Zach Martin said he was retiring. Maybe I'm thinking about their center. La 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 la. Yeah, see, Zach Martin's not on here. No, he's not on this list.
Zach Martin retired.
Yeah, he's retired. That's a big loss for them.
So, who do you got 3rd, Donz?
Who knows? So I've been going back and forth with this, and this is why I said there's only one possibility where the Giants can't be in last place. It's if the Commanders absolutely implode on themselves. So I don't... With the Cowboys, the first year coaching, there's always a possibility that things go well, but there's more of a probability for things to go wrong.
Yeah.
So to me, for 3rd... I kind of think I have the Commanders here. I think they take a back step. I just don't think the addition of Deebo Samuel is going to be what everybody wants it to be. I think they completely misjudged on offense what holes they had and what they need in order to be a better team. I think that you just added somebody that does the same thing that 3 other guys on your team already does. So I don't know how big of an impact that's going to be. And now that people have a full year's worth of tape on Jaden Daniels, is there a possibility that it takes a sophomore slump? I kind of think so. And not that I don't believe in Daniels. And, there's obviously the chance that he balls out. But I think it's more likely that the Commanders, especially Dan Quinn, I just think there's more of a possibility of a backslide there. And I think that I do think McCarthy was that bad. And Dak not being healthy is a huge hit to the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are going to take the number 2 spot. And the Commanders are going to be number 3.
Okay. So the reason I was just going to, let's just say one guy's name, and that's C.J. Stroud. Let's go back 1 year, Donz. C.J. Stroud just had his rookie year. He's on top of the world, and everybody's saying, oh, my God, the Texans going to go to the Super Bowl? Are they a Super Bowl contender? And they took a big step back this past season. Sophomore slump for Stroud.
Did they, though? They
Nobody
did in the
expected
regular season. But they made a run in the playoffs, and they were just so injured.
Expectations, I mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They fell apart. They had a lot of injuries. Dell, Diggs, all these guys. They had so many injuries, but
that's a big deal, though.
Yeah, and I could see these two definitely flip-flopping. Cowboys in Washington. I could see Washington being number 3 and Cowboys jumping.
Yeah,
so.
to me, I got Washington at number 3. I think they're going to backslide a little bit this year.
We talked about this when we did our pre-draft rankings that I compared Washington to the old Dream Team Eagles, where we had Vince Young coming out.
Yes.
Dream Team. Ha, 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 ha. We got Asamoah, DeMarco Murray, all these guys signed. Like, we got all these free agents. Look what we're about to do. And then 4-12.
Yeah.
Bring in Lane Johnson.
That's kind of what I'm leaning on. I mean, they brought in Kinlaw, too, who's good. They brought in, like, Laramie Tunsil. But like you said, these are all older dudes that have been in the league for so long already. I don't know.
If you watch Washington last year, they struggled with pass protection. They bring in Tunsil.
Number 3.
They bring in Tunsil, and then they struggled having another option behind Terry McLaurin that they could trust. They went to Ertz so much they couldn't trust De'Ami Brown or any of these receivers. So now they bring in Deebo Samuel.
They should have never traded Dotson.
Well,
they should have never traded him. He would have been way better playing for the Commanders than he was playing for us.
I think he's one of those players, Donz, where he needed to change the scenery. Or like either the coaching or just like he just wasn't getting it or like he just wasn't motivated.
Washington was terrible until last year.
He just never made plays, man. He really never made plays.
I don't know, but you see like what he brings to the table for us. Like he does really like if they had that too, they would have been in perfect shape. They would have been a better team, much better team, I think, last year. That's just my opinion.
No, hey, when I saw Dotson, first of all, credit to NFL Films for having the in the huddle play where Hurts is like saying to Dotson, like, hey, we're going to you here on the first drive. And he cooked that DB with a nice like hesitation stutter. I didn't know he had that kind of burst. He really accelerated past that dude and beat him for what should have been a touchdown, turned into a tush push. But yeah, he's got some potential. But I think he was one of those guys where he was a first round pick, talent, and he thought he was going to be the number one. They had Terry.
Picked up his player option, right?
He didn't adjust to it, and I don't know how he's going to end up with us, Donz. I'm still not sold on Dotson, but
no, but he can sell me this year.
Yeah,
he definitely can sell me this year. So yeah, I got the Commanders at 3 for all those reasons I just listed, and whatever team holds on to Marcus Mariota is a losing team. All I'm saying is that we got rid of Marcus Mariota and we won the Super Bowl. That's all I'm saying.
I had Washington second in mine.
Marcus catching the strays.
My poor guy. He mentioned how much he recently hated doing the quarterback thing, but he said the paycheck was so nice. He's like, I had to do it. I had to.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it was such a good amount of money that he couldn't say no.
Yeah,
anyway,
of course, it's Netflix.
His wife was going through a pregnancy, so it's kind of like a odd thing, but he said they were very respectful. Anyway, I have one just brief note. I mentioned it already, really, about Washington. They didn't really acquire a lot during the draft. They used those picks to get veteran Laramie Tunsil, who, if I'm not mistaken, he was the guy who got caught with the gas mask video on draft night.
Is he?
Yeah,
I think so.
I'm pretty sure he was the guy. Gas mask NFL video. Pretty sure that was him, dude. Laramie Tunsil.
Tunsil.
He was supposed to be a top 5 pick, and the night of the draft, a picture of him came out of him hitting a gas mask, presumably with marijuana in it, and that's why he dropped.
Allegedly.
That's why he dropped. Well, we know it wasn't cigarettes, so anyway.
That's a dumb reason to drop.
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about the Texans, but their biggest issue was protection, and they ship off Laramie Tunsil. So I thought that was very odd. A lot of people did too. But
do you think Ricky Williams is ever like, God damn it? He's like, what the fuck?
I should have played in this era. I could have killed it.
I was before my time.
That's true. They don't really test for. Well, yeah, they don't test for weed now. I never thought about that. He would be such a beast in Madden now, or in real life.
Like,
he would kill it, dude.
Bitch.
Yeah,
dude, he was a beast in the pros, bro. With the Dolphins, he was a monster.
He talked about
even
getting
when he went
high.
to the Saints, he was all right.
He talked about getting high and rushing for 300 yards in a game. He was running high all the time, dude. Josh Gordon before Josh Gordon. Not drinking, but weed-wise, yeah. Anyway.
Ricky Williams. Anyway, sorry.
So, you know what?
On.
And I should have mentioned this off the top, and we should have really started here when we talked about the division. The Eagles won the division last year, 2024. I know you know this, but a lot of the fans don't. No team has repeated as division champion since the Birds did it in 2003, 2004. So I say all that to set up my number one team. It's obviously the Birds, but in retrospect, folks, it's very,
Go
very
Birds!
rare. It's very rare to
Go
have a
Birds!
team repeat as division champion.
Go Birds!
So,
Birds!
despite the Birds losing a few pieces on defense,
Go Birds!
Milton, Sweat,
Go
Slay,
Birds!
and some young players, and in this case, could be rookies,
Slackers! Overrated!
who may need to make an impact day one. Jahad Campbell.
Go Birds!
Jahad Campbell, the best linebacker in this class, according to many, fell to the Birds at 32, but was seen on the sidelines in minicamp early on. So he's not practicing yet as far as what the media has seen. My favorite pick, Andrew Makuba, safety from Texas, is a perfect fit for Vic Fangio's defense. Hopefully he's big enough to hold up. I think he's only 5'10". Then retaining players like Dallas Goedert and Lane Johnson, who some thought would retire or not play anymore, can only mean good things for the defending champ. So despite the rare back-to-back division win, I got the Birds repeating as champions. What about you, Donz? Who's your
Fly
number two?
Eagles fly on the road to victory, baby.
Who's number two for you? You haven't given me your two yet.
Bro, I told you. The Cowboys.
Oh, you're putting Cowboys
The
at
Dak
two?
Prescott's going to come back. Dak Prescott's a very serviceable quarterback. Everybody hates on him a little bit too much. No, he's not a winner. No, he's not a Super Bowl champion. No, he's not the guy that's proven to get you there. But he's a solid NFL quarterback. And if he's not injured, they're going to have a lot more to say in this division. There's no way in hell that, I mean, unless he's just done and it's the end of Dak Prescott.
I don't think so, but their defense is
with,
weak.
Yeah, I know, but with Pickens and CD,
Who's their running back right now?
question mark. Yeah, but those two guys are enough to make everybody a lot better.
So just kept Tony Pollard.
And you can't not game plan for Pickens and CD. So automatically, you're just
Lightbox.
assuming there's 4 people on defense that are being taken up, spying those 2 guys. So we'll see in between the lines who steps up. But I just think Washington's going to backslide a little bit, and the Cowboys are going to kind of go back to normal to what they usually are, and that's going to fall them at number 2.
So that means at number 1, you also have the Birds winning the division.
Sure. There's and this is actually a question I wanted to bring to you here because
hear
I
it.
had a feeling we're both going to have them at number 1. Do you think the Eagles and this bunch of players that we have here, do you think that they're going to be the type of team that can overcome the Super Bowl hangover? The type of team that's going to stay hungry and keep fighting at it? Or you think it's going to be what happens to a lot of teams where it becomes a celebratory season? Who gives a damn? I just won the Super Bowl. Oh, I'm getting a commercial here. I'm getting a commercial there. I'm getting free stuff here. I'm eating free food here. You know what I mean? Is all that shit going to get in the way? Or is this Eagles team strong enough to overcome that? What's your thought?
When doing this division breakdown and thinking about what the Birds are going to be this year, I thought about the leadership. I thought about Jalen Hurts, how he's already been heard about how he was working the next week, or just his mentality in general. We've got A.J. Brown's Instagram post where some took it as a negative, but he basically said, like, hey, you play your career to get to a Super Bowl and win it, and now I've done it, and I'm kind of over it. Like, it's back to the grind now. It's back to work. So he doesn't seem satisfied. Does Saquon Barkley seem like a guy who's going to be satisfied and get fat and happy and go to McDonald's? I don't think so.
No, but
So, like,
here's my thing with that, though.
Go ahead. Yep.
It's those guys are already used to the limelight, and they're already used to all eyes on me everywhere they go. It's the dudes that, numbers 32 to 53 that don't necessarily know how to act when they get that type of fandom and stardom.
Yeah. And the only concern
You're right, though. I do agree with you.
The only concern I would have is the defensive side of the ball. So you've got a lot of young players who just had success, who haven't dealt with success. I'm going to start with Jalen Carter because not just the reason that he fell in the draft, but
that's very true.
Some of his work ethic issues that we heard about at Georgia. He didn't play a lot of snaps. He didn't give a lot of effort on some snaps, and that was I don't know if it became an issue with the Eagles early on, but it was definitely something where early on in his career, he was tired at the end of games or at the end of the season. He wasn't as dominant because he was on the sideline sucking wind.
Or was he just preserving himself to give us more snaps?
There you go. That wasn't a problem this year for sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't a problem at all. So, I don't know.
That's actually a good point because Jalen Carter was somebody I was worried about, but I never thought about it that way. He has shown to himself that when he doesn't fuck around, he can be this unstoppable force.
Nobody can stop him.
So if
Donald's
he
talked about
wants
it.
to feel that way
Donald.
again, then now he has the example to set. So actually, I'm even more confident now that you said that.
Yeah, not only that, but we're leaning more on guys like Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, maybe Keely Ringo, or this new safety Makuba. I trust Vic Fangio, and I know we went from 30th on defense to number 1. If we do take a step back by any means, I think it's going to be defensively and not offensively. I don't think it's going to be the Eagles can't put points on the board. It's going to be, hey, it's the third quarter with 4 minutes left, and we've already given up 28 points. What's going on here, dude?
I disagree with you a little bit there because I feel the opposite.
You're more worried about the offense?
I'm more worried about the offense with a new coordinator, new quarterback coach, new staff, couple new guys in the room. Not that many new guys in the room, but younger guys to filter through.
Yep.
Losing an
Kellen's gone.
offensive coordinator is tough, and we both know that Nick Sirianni isn't the offensive coordinating genius type. I'm not saying he's a bum. I'm not saying he can't get good at it, but that's what we missed. And every time we've had a good offensive coordinator, we have literally made it to the Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts. Mm-hmm. So my biggest question marks are on offense, but I think that we're good enough to hand the ball off and throw go route to A.J. Brown that we should still be good enough to win this division, even if our offensive coordinators aren't that great, but that's just me.
Yeah, well, the Lions are going to be in the same boat. Well, losing both coordinators, a lot of people think they're going to take a step back for that reason. Mm-hmm. So we would be foolish to not bring up the changing coordinator for the Eagles, especially because
Goff has been around for so long.
We went through it with Brian Johnson when he came in, and I remember week 1, him and Hurts talking after our first couple of drives. I'm like, this doesn't look good. This looks like a couple that was forced to go on a date together.
Steering that ship.
Yep. So now what's going to happen this year? This guy's never called plays. I mean, we'll see. I think we got vets in there. I think at the end of the day, I mean, I hate to simplify football, but can we just run the ball again? And you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's not that simple, but lean on the offensive line.
Eagles #1, go Birds.
Yes, we both got the Birds winning the division again. Something that hasn't happened since 2003.
But our Cowboys in Washington are flipped.
Yeah.
But I honestly think things can go so bad with Washington that the Giants can slide up to #3.
It's possible, Donz. I looked at the odds. Eagles are still the favorite. I think the Cowboys are second or, really close with Washington, and obviously the Giants are last. But the Eagles are still the favorites despite losing Sweat and Milton and Slay and these guys and leaning on a lot of young guys. I still expect the Birds to win 12, 13 games and get that division.
Yeah, facts. All right, man. Let's do a quick pause. Pause here. Almost just recorded over our entire podcast that we just did.
Cool.
Yeah, it would have been fine. Everything would have been okay. Everything would have been great. It would have been fine. Okay, we're back live. Looney Tunes.
We're back.
Fat in action.
We're live.
All right, so we're live. Everybody missed us. We were missed greatly. So another 4 years of the 1 of 32 podcast.
A minimum 4 years. What? We don't do terms, dude. This is a lifelong thing, dude.
4 years.
I'm committed for life.
4 years. A 4-year term. All right. So.
You know what time it is.
You know what time it is.
It's time for KP's Top 5.
KP's Top 5, y'all.
Top 5.
KP's Top 5, everybody.
Top 5. Okay, so draft's over. I mean, we were limited. I had actually about 4 or 5 ideas that I wanted to do, but I chose this one. This week, it is the top 5 teams I cannot wait to watch next NFL season.
KP's Top 5.
Number 5. Number 5. The Cleveland Browns. Donz, if you've got 5 quarterbacks, you've got none. Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Deshaun Watson, 2 rookies, Dylan Gabriel. Last but not least, the headline, the showstopper, the money maker, the son of Deion Sanders, Mr. Shedeur Sanders.
It's the Shedeur Sanders.
I'm rooting for him, first of all, with all the hate that he's been getting. Some of it has been earned. The way he acted in his interviews, not great. But there's been plenty of players that either didn't know how to handle themselves or mishandled the interviews. Now it's about getting on the field, getting in the playbook, and throwing the ball and learning the playbook. So I hope he succeeds as a 5th-round pick. If you ask me, minimum 2 games I expect him to start next season. Watson is not going to be playing. Flacco is old. Pickett is what he is. And then you've got Dylan Gabriel, who he has to beat out, who, from what I'm hearing from talent evaluators, there's no doubt Sanders is better than Gabriel. So, number 5, the Cleveland Browns.
I wish him a long and successful career. I hope Shador Sanders has a long, successful career.
You're going to like this one, Donz. Number 4.
Number 4.
The local team, the New England Patriots.
Pawtucket, Pat.
From a projected 4-win total last season.
I like Mike Vrabel a lot.
To hiring Gerard Mayo, who had never coached before, bringing in Alex Van Pelt to coach a rookie quarterback, and then benching your rookie quarterback in Week 18 for Joe Milton, just so he can win the last week of the season and screw up your draft pick. From all of that, that's all in the past now, Patriots fans. New head coach, former linebacker, Mike Vrabel is here to save the day.
From 0 to hero.
Bringing in diva wide receiver Stephon Diggs and multiple weapons in the draft to help their young quarterback, not to mention Campbell, the tackle, who's Mr. Short Arms, probably going to be a guard, but for now he's a tackle. I cannot wait to watch Go Pats this season.
You know what I think helps Mike Vrabel a lot? The fact that he could probably beat the living shit out of some of those players on that team.
Yeah.
Especially on the offensive side.
Yeah.
A wide receiver going to mouth off to you, bro. I'll slap the shit out of you.
I could just see
Mike
him.
Vrabel is a good coach because he'll beat the shit out of somebody.
He really will.
Yeah.
I think he instills a fear in some players, man.
Yeah, hell
really.
yeah.
You don't want to fuck with him. Also, multiple videos of him when he was a coach of the Titans, like getting involved in drills with the offensive linemen, with the receivers. So he puts his hand in the dirt and plays just like the players do. Number 4, go Pats.
Go Pats.
Number 3.
Number 3.
An unexpected team, Donz. The Cincinnati Bengals.
The Bungles.
The Bungles. Joe Burrow helped the Bengals to a 12-4 record, took his team to the Super Bowl, and nearly beat the Rams in 2022. He is routinely placed in the top tier of quarterbacks with high expectations. Last season, fell flat with a 9-8 record. Chase is paid. Higgins is paid. Burrow's paid. And now it's time for the defense to do their part and help make this team competitive again. Number 3, the Cincinnati Bengals.
You know what's dope about the Bengals and that you say this?
What?
So I went to my buddy's, shout out Charlie's Vintage Shop. He does vintage stuff and clothing,
Ooh.
sells vintage clothing.
Cool.
So I went to go visit him this weekend because he had a vintage gathering of the vintage lords here in Providence. And his market, I was looking through some of his stuff. He had a Cincinnati Bengals AFC Central Division winner's shirt.
Ooh.
AFC Central. They are now part of the AFC North, of course.
Yes.
So because it's a vintage shop, I ended up
dope,
finding
dude.
that, AFC Central Division. So it's funny you say the Bungles, and then I just saw that this weekend.
I love when you find gear like that from old sports teams.
Yeah.
Or we were walking one day talking about the Washington football team, and imagine 20 years from now, some kid who just started watching football, he finds a Washington football team logo, sweater, hoodie, shirt, hat, and he looks at his dad and says, "Dad, what the F is this?"
Yeah, that's
well,
tight.
son, let me tell you about Daniel Snyder.
Yep.
That's a long story. Anyway, so number 3 is
So
the
I
Bengals.
thought it was pretty cool. He's the dude that gave me the 2004 Eagles championship.
I remember that.
Sure.
And next time you go to a show, let me know, because I'm the type to always support small business. My dad was a small business owner. So if he's got anything Eagles, Giants, even, I have friends that like other teams. Shout out to my
If
buddy
you like just clothes
York
made out of cotton.
and his Packers fan. So
You know what that means.
next time let me know and I'll go with you to support. So number 3, the Bengals.
The Bengals. Number
2, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Jaguars.
Yeah, I said it, Donz. I'm just going to Travis
Why, is
Hunter.
Doug Peterson back?
Travis Hunter and Travis Hunter. That is all. Is he going to play both ways? Is he going to be good or great at both? Must see TV in Jacksonville this season. Can he even compete at wide receiver? Is he going to be elite like everybody says? Is he going to struggle? Brian Thomas Jr. dominated last year as a rookie. Is he the alpha wide receiver? Is he going to complain when he doesn't play as much on defense after the game? So many questions will be answered with Travis Hunter. He truly is a one-of-a-kind prospect, a Bo Jackson diamond in the rough. Can't wait to watch this guy every Sunday.
Travis Hunter. I'm excited for Travis Hunter. I do fear that by like week 6, all that drama is gonna, unless he explodes and changes the game.
I mean, they do have a decent. I mean, they're putting weapons around Trevor. They're doing that for sure. But
I don't know. I don't believe in Trevor Lawrence.
I feel like he was at his peak at Clemson. Ever since then, he's kind of stayed the same or gone down. But
he had that one really great year with Dougie P, and that's it.
Yep, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars.
Number 1. And I typed it wrong. I actually typed Oakland. It's the Las Vegas Raiders. Number 6 overall
the
pick.
Raiders.
The Raiders.
The Raiders.
As Chris Berman would say.
Raiders.
6th overall pick, Ashton Genty, is why they are here. He has some expectations coming into the league as a first-round running back. Let me tell you a little bit about Ashton Genty because I've heard a lot about him, and now I like him even more, Donz. Father in the military. In 8th grade, his father was promoted and then stationed in Naples, Italy. So Ashton and his family up and left, moved to another country. He had to stop playing football and missed his 8th grade season due to moving out of the country. Adjust to the culture. He said he learned how important sign language or using your hands is in Italy, that Italians talk with their hands more than anything. Long story short, when he
learned
finally,
how to go, Bella!
Come on.
Bella!
I could just see it right now. When he finally did return home and moved to Texas, his coaches put him at outside linebacker, defensive end, and safety. Not until his senior year did he even get a chance to play running back, and the rest is history. Now, let me name you, Donz. Actually, well, I guess we could turn this. We shouldn't quiz you. We don't want to quiz you. Last 5.
I'm dumb.
Last 5 first.
Don't do well on quizzes.
The last 5 first-round running backs that were taken in the draft, because Ashton was a first-round pick. We have Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So you look at those guys, I'd say we don't know about Bijan. Gibbs is a hit for me.
I know about Bijan.
He's going to be a hit, right, you think?
Bijan's a bust.
He's a bust.
Bijan the bust.
Ooh.
That's what they call him around these streets. Bijan the bust.
So far, he is a bust. I mean, he hasn't done great yet, but
I don't
Najee
like
Harris.
him. Same as that Washington fella.
Yeah, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I can attest to it now. I'll say it on a live air or whatever, but in my fantasy draft, I picked Clyde Edwards-Helaire 6th overall, first-round pick. When the Chiefs put him in the first round, I'm like, he's going to be a running back with the Chiefs. He's going to get the ball a lot. Oh, my God, is that embarrassing. I can't believe I just said that.
I can't say I haven't been there before. I need to stop talking. That's
God,
stupid.
dude,
I can't say I haven't been there before, bro. I've done it, and let me tell you, I'm probably gonna do it again.
Yeah, we do it every year.
Yeah, dude, it's always some dumbass. I picked Breece Hall this year.
Me too. First-round pick,
First-round pick.
Yep,
So
ever.
you did it again?
Yeah, I did it again. See,
did it
you know how
again.
it goes, man.
Yeah.
Vegas is not expected to compete this year. I understand that. But with backs like, we'll throw some names from the past a little bit, Todd Gurley, Ezekiel Elliott, this guy, Ashton Genty, has me thinking he could be a special talent in Vegas.
Todd Gurley's a beast.
So good.
He was so good.
Last little note on Genty. Never heard anything like this before, but he penned an open letter to the NFL. He did a story with I want to say The Athletic. I'm not sure on that. No, Players Tribune, excuse me. Players Tribune open letter in which he stated, and I quote, "If you pick me, it's simple. I'm coming to your franchise to do what Saquon and the Eagles just did. I'm coming to win big soon." Next line. It's capital letters, tackle football. You know what I'm saying? I draft the guy they can't tackle. Need I say more? Cannot wait to watch this dude run, Donz. I can't wait to
I'm
watch this
excited
guy
for
in
it.
the NFL. You know there are linebackers, safety saying, oh, okay, this fucking kid thinks he's going to come into the league and run us over.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, we'll see about
Yeah.
that.
Talk
Kyle
about
Hamilton,
bullseye.
even CJ GJ, dude. He's not afraid. I can remember him last year against the Falcons meeting Bijan Robinson in a hole and absolutely stiffing him. Anyway, I say all that to say Genty is going to be a special talent this year.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
why
excited to see the Raiders
number
too,
one.
to see what they do with their talent. I'm also excited to see your boy Chip Kelly as their offensive coordinator and using a
Yerp.
talent like Genty in there. So they got a lot of good things going on. So
Pete Carroll gonna run the rock. You know that.
yeah,
That's their
Pete Carroll's
Marshawn
a great
Lynch now,
coach. So
right?
this wraps up.
Marshawn Lynch. Yes. Top
Marshawn
five.
Lynch,
Top five. Top five. Top five. Top five.
Josh Jacobs.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Actually, the Raiders do always have good running backs. Always, always, always.
Last year they had a guy named Sincere McCormick running the ball for them. So Genty will be a much needed.
What?
Yeah, his name was Sincere McCormick. Not bad either. Pretty good couple weeks, but anyway, they had Alexander Madison. But you're right, Donz. This top five
Madison is
is
pretty good.
over.
And this wraps up KP's top 5, y'all.
Top five. Top five.
Anyways,
Top five. Top five.
not to hit you with too much of us,
I can feel it.
but we're going to do a little bit of this just in with Don segment right now. And let me tell you, people, ladies and gentlemen, I've been laboring. I've been trolling. I've been trying to see what I was going to come up with to talk to the folks who hang on my every single syllable and word.
He was torn.
And honestly, I had a lot that I wanted to say before I got here. And I think that I was blessed with the gift of forgiveness, because what I bring to you today is something that's very trademarked and familiarized with all of us. And honestly, just do it. You want to start a new project? You want to learn a new thing? You want to pick up boxing, dude? You want to learn a new skill? Just do it. Just fucking stop thinking about it and just go do it. Put one foot in front of the other. Don't know where to start? Make a list. Write it down. What do? I open my eyes. What do I do next? I blink. What do I do next? I inhale. Then I stand up and then I go pick up a notebook and then I start writing shit down. Bro, write it down. If you want to do something, go do it. Don't wait 5-10 years to try to find your hobby and find the next beautiful thing that you want to do. Like, and maybe this comes off well because it's shit that I need to hear for myself. I feel like a lot of this just in segments is me just regurgitating what I need to do to work on myself. But bro, go do it. Pick up the phone. Go sign up for the class, dude. Go take the introductory lessons. Go on YouTube, bro. Get your hands on something. Build a computer. Learn your CompTIA certifications. Become a tech person. I don't know, dude. Go get a gender reassignment surgery, bro. Go do what you gotta do, bro. So, and this just in with Donz, bro. Go live your life, gals, girls, and unidentified objects. Go live your life on your terms. You know, not all of us are the most successful people in this world. Y'all know who y'all are, but that doesn't mean you don't have the same 24 hours that everybody else does. Just get up and do something. So that wraps up this just in with Donz. Just go do it. The thing you keep thinking of, just fucking look at me. Just fucking do it. Okay, that's it. Bye.
One foot in front of the other, Downs. You
Yeah.
gotta.
My God.
Sometimes, even with getting to the gym or going for a walk, it's just get up, put your shoes on. That's
do
step
it.
one. Put your shoes on and say, okay, I just want to get to the gym.
Get out the
or
door.
I just want to get outside. Then once you're there, it's okay. Now I want to do
Get
this
up off your
machine.
couch.
I want to work on this. So little baby steps to get you to the bigger ones. Well said, Downs.
Well said. Well, anyways, this was a cool episode.
Oh, this one flew by.
You thought?
I'm not going to say it was great because I say that every time. So
It
I'll
was
just
a
say,
great episode.
I'll
It
just
was
say,
one of the greatest episodes.
I'll try to play it cool and nonchalant. Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, it was fine.
Nah,
It was
listen, we
whatever. It was
appreciate
cool.
y'all.
Of
We
course
should
it
maybe
was
start
great.
plugging a little bit more earlier in the beginning. But don't forget to follow us on TikTok and Instagram, oneof.32. Please go follow us on YouTube. It is under, coincidentally, Crunchwrap Donz. No big deal, but we'll figure that out, how to change it to the 1 of 32 channel. We do got a couple videos out here. And hopefully we'll have a new video for you guys
Yep.
up shortly.
Yep.
All right. This is your boy Donz. KP. Peace out.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.